Hello guys, what is up? Today I have yet another mask review. Considering my lack of involvement in collecting, my videos have been distant and not as consistent as they once were. So I apologize for that. However, I wanted to go over this specific mask since it's a mask that is rarely discussed within collecting, and it's currently on hold for a buyer, so here I plan to review it while it's still mine and unveil some unknowns about the XM48 and M48 series that many of you have not already known. So as you know, the Apache M48 began production in June 19th of 1996 as a replacement to the M43 Type 1. The XM48, however, was continuously produced in limited quantity until 1994, where the production line had closed. And the requirements were unable to be met for continuing the mass production. Considering the lack of funding, the new-bound solution was to begin converting M43 Type 1 face pieces into XM48 face pieces. Because of this, the mask's estimated build cost went from 1,000 produced masks at $10 million to $400,000 for 1,000 masks through the means of conversion, ultimately saving $7.8 billion on the project. It was not until 2002 where the mask was able to go into full factory production through funding and technological advances. So now that you know the evolution of the XM48 to its point of standardization, now we shall get onto the actual physical examination of this XM48 facepiece. Upon first notice, the mask uses a white polyurethane as its lens retainer, opposed to the traditional blue lens retainer that is commonly seen in experimental Apache masks. While blue polyurethane is a common way to depict an experimental Apache mask, this rule is not always the same for all masks. The hardware and setup of this mask is rather dependent on the phase and date of the facepiece. Also be in mind, this is a later XM48 facepiece, so it goes without saying, the mask is going to closely resemble the finalized variant. We notice first that there are two stamps on the air distribution assembly, which I'm unable to trace or offer a definitive answer on. If I were to give an educated guess, it would be stamps specifically regarding the conversion process of the mask prior to its standardization. First, let me just go ahead and show you the stamps is what I'm talking about here. There's one with looks like a P, and then there is another one that looks like an X. Both have a small circle, a filled-in circle beside each letter. So, again, unsure what that is. If anybody knows what that is, I would love to hear an explanation. But from the research that I've done, I've yet to come to a conclusion as to what it actually is. So anyways, back to the review. There have been other XM48 parts similar with this stamp, yet again it's unknown what the stamp fully represents. Other than that, the mask is set up fairly standard to what you'd see of an M48. The facepiece is dated 1993, while the ID card depicts the date of manufacture being February of 1994. So most likely the mask was assembled from a finalized 1993 dated M43 Type 1 and converted into an XM48 recently after the conversion process had come about. And I think that it's good to talk about this, especially because I've noticed a lot of people, especially on the Reddit groups and different forums and outlets where people have popped up with these, and they regard these as finalized masks. And that's fine, but I'm just kind of making this video because I have not yet seen another video or anyone else really talking about this, spreading awareness of the status of this mask. you know. So I think it's good that people realize this, and if they do have an experimental mask, you know, it's one more thing that you know, so it's good to learn such as that. And again, back to the date stamps. Here we have on the bottom, this says 1993. I'm not exactly sure if you can read that or not, but it says MSA 1993. And then on for our ID card inside of the hood, we have all of this here, and then we have manufacturer 0294, so February of 1994, and all of that is there, you know, so take it as you will. So yeah, again, this is a simple review, more of a an awareness than it is history, I guess, since, like I said, a lot of people pop up with these. You know, I it's hard for me to say if the mask is any more valuable as an experimental, since there are more of these than you would generally expect. So, you know, it's an XM48, but, you know, take that lightly, as there are quite a few, opposed to the earlier XM43s. And again, there are some XM48s, the earlier ones, they did use blue polyurethane cement, and that is generally what you hear of or think of when you think of XM43/XM48. So, you know, just be mindful of that. But yeah, so this is it. Any questions or concerns, or anyone who would like to do research on their own, or, you know, specifically read the report that I, you know, have referenced a lot of the information of this off of, please feel free to contact me. Yeah. So thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful to anyone who has an M48 or an M43, or, well, actually this is most helpful to people with M48s, but if you have, per se, an XM48 or M48 that is dated, you know, 1993, or I've seen them as early as 1992, so they definitely do get earlier. Again, looking like pretty standard masks, so they're very easy to mistake as a finalized piece. So I just wanted to point that out there, and I hope a lot of you find this video helpful, and I will see you later.